Have you ever been confused or uncertain with rigging, with what rigging to use with soft plastics? For example, if I'm going to throw this Polk County tweaker, do I want to use this rigging or a jig head or something totally different? The truth is that depth control is oftentimes more important than the actual lure that you use. It's all about getting at the right depth. If the fish are up in the shallows, then you'll need something like this that can get up in the shallows, can help keep you weedless. But if the fish are pushed off into deeper water and you try to throw this lure that is designed for the shallows, you're flat out not going to catch anything, even if those fish are very aggressive. So what we did to help minimize the confusion and uncertainty is we put together this rigging guide. And what this does, let me zoom in here so you can check it out. What this does is it has for weedless options as well as non-weedless. Right, weedless is basically for those of us who are fishing near structure. We're going after redfish, sea trout, snook, flounder. We're going after structure-oriented fish, and we're targeting them close to structure where they do a lot of feeding, and we don't want to get snagged. We want to spend more time fighting the fish and less time fighting the structure. But if we're getting out to the open situations and open water situations, then we can move over to the non-weedless where we have a better hookup ratio. So it's all about, again, deciding how weedless you want to be. But either way, for every lure, for all the core lures from our fishing club members, what our members are using most often, we have this chart which basically gives you the right pairing, the optimal pairing, as well as other pairings that work for every lure. So for example, if we're looking at the 4-inch mulligan and we know we're going to be up in the shallows, we automatically know that we can go to the helix hooks. And the green means optimal for the certain depth range. And yellow means, yes, it'll work for that depth range, but there's another option that's better. So if I'm going to be sight fishing redfish in like 12 inches of water, I automatically know, okay, I need to go with a 3/0 helix hook that doesn't have any weight. But if I'm going to be going down into, say, 7 feet of water, then I'll need to go down the chart to now the weedless round eye. Because on this one, right, the 7 feet of water, this is the only green in 7 feet. Obviously, if you're going to be in 5 or 6 feet of water, then you can go with the 3/16 or the 1/4 ounce. And for lures like this that can work great with multiple size hooks, the 3/0 is typically best, is what's preferred. But the 4/0 still fits it well. You can catch a ton of fish and not have any issues with the 4/0. So again, this is just a great way to know if you're using the right rigging or not. Is it optimal, or at least is it good enough? What you don't want to do is get into a position where there's not a colored square for the intersection of your lure in your jig head that you're thinking about using. Because if there's not a color, that generally means that you're actually going to have some issues. You're going to definitely miss out on some fish catching if you don't change your pairing decision. And for those who haven't yet tried the new weedless round eye jig heads, as you can see, right, they're green for the swim baits. And then when we get over to the prawn lures, they're yellow. So for the prawns, the football head shape is really designed perfectly for them as far as just overall performance. But just like before, right, we can see that yes, you can still use the footballs on the swim baits. They're just not going to be as preferred as the round eyes, and then vice versa for the prawns. And we scroll down at the bottom, right, we have the same situation for the traditional jig heads. We have the round eye that's really lit up green for the swim baits and jerks. But then on the prawns here in the far right, yes, the round eyes still work, but we really recommend the footballs just so that they can bounce bottom and stay at the proper orientation, assuming that you're going to fish those prawns really slow. So if you have any questions about how this chart works, let me know. This is available to everybody, right? It's a free PDF download. And best of all, when you're looking at the PDF, all of these headers are actually links to get these products. If you don't have any of the jig heads, or if you don't have any of the lures themselves, everything is now easily accessible with just a click or tap from this PDF, so that you can easily fill in any gaps that you might have in your tackle bag. As always, if you have any questions about this, please do not hesitate to leave a question down below. Thank you so much for your time and watching. Hope to see you again soon.